So, my name's Derek. I'm an engineer here at Rancho. I've been in the fire service for about 15 years full time. Spent 9 years over at Montclair, and then came over here in 2016 and has been here ever since. I've been teaching here at Mount Sac, this portion, 4 or 5 years now. So you'll only see me this week. I only do vent and firefighter safety and survival. So what we're gonna go over is saw breakdown, okay? You guys just came from saw safety, right?
Yes, sir.
So just like anything, I'm just gonna reiterate, I don't know if Instructor Holt told you, but we wanna treat these things like loaded guns. Okay, so when we're walking with them, they're pointed down with the safe on, okay? When we're working them, obviously the safe's off, they're in the wood, they're in the decking, okay? The minute you pull them out and you start walking away from your hole, safe on, pointed down, okay? We don't want anybody cut. I don't want to see you guys doing this, or you're cutting, you're like, yeah, look at that cut, you know, like this, and it's still running, okay? Or giving it to somebody while it's running, okay? We don't do that, all right? If that happens, obviously we're gonna stop you for your own safety, right? We don't want you cutting any fingers or toes off. It's the last thing you guys want, right? Cool. All right. Who has experience with chainsaws? Who has experience with motors? What kind?
T-shirts?
So dirt bikes, I'm assuming?
Yes,
Yeah? Okay. Cool. So this motor, right, is a 2-stroke motor. That's what he works on. He probably knows better than I do. But we'll see. See the answers to some questions. All right. So I already have mine broken down. It just saves time if I break mine all the way down and you guys break down just the basics of it. Okay, we just don't have that much time to get through because we want to get you guys on the roof. All right, so what we're gonna go over to is just, we'll start at the very tip, like your saw or your bar and your chain, and we'll work back, okay? So, what is this called? I just said it.
Bar, sir.
Bar, right? This is obviously, other than your chain, that's your working part of your saw. What is this called? What does it look like? Looks like a sprocket, right? On a bicycle, which your chain rides on. We call this the nose sprocket, okay? This is a sealed, oilless nose sprocket, meaning we don't have to lubricate it. Back in the day, we had a little port or 3 ports. We'd have to put oil in every weekly check just to keep this thing lubricated. One of the biggest pet peeves of mine and what damages these is when guys try to clean this up after cutting, wood chips get in here, and they take a blow tip and they go this way with it and they spin this thing at 1,000 RPMs. It's not meant for that. It's not good. It's not good for it, okay? Especially when it's not under load. How we clean this is we take our scrunch. This is called a scrunch, right? We got a slotted or a flathead side, and essentially a socket style wrench on one side. Just put it in the guide for the bar, and we pull any dirt out, okay? There's a specific tool that they make that does that as well. I just haven't looked in your box to see if you guys have it. But this works just as well. Just a nice, easy pull of it. It should pull it all out. Okay? We want to check it to make sure it's not bent. So we look down the middle of it. So we make sure it's not bent this way. And that there's not uneven wear on each side. Like one side's higher than the other. If it is, all we do is flip the saw over. Or flip the bar over. Okay? After each use, or extended use, we want to flip the bar over anyway. So anytime we clean this and take this apart, you should be flipping the bar, just to keep it at even wear all the way across. All right? How big is this bar?
20 inches.
20 inches. How do you know?
I was told.
You were told?
Yeah.
Okay, cheater. Actually, most bars have a schematic on, so go ahead and look at your bar. This should tell you exactly what's on it. It might be on the other side. Oh, you got it? Okay.
50 centimeters
Or
or 20 inches.
20 inches, right? 3/8 inch is the size. Cool. So that's pretty standard. So for any of our vertical ventilation saws, we use 20-inch bars. Now there are different size bars that at least Rancho uses for the wildland setting. We have 25-inch and 28-inch. I know Forest Service in the logging industry uses 36 or 48-inch bars, but that's to get through big ass pieces of wood, okay? We don't obviously need that when we're cutting a hole and we're supposed to be on the roof for no more than 10 minutes, all right? So any questions on the bar? Pretty straightforward. Cleaning it, you just take some degreaser or wash it with soap and water, get all the stuff out. I already showed you how to clean out the middle of it, check it. Cool?
Yes, sir.
Very straightforward. If I go fast, dude, I'm just trying to get us moving, but stop me and ask questions, all right?
Yes, sir.
So now we have our chain. How big is this chain? 20-inch chain. If it's a 20-inch bar, it's gonna fit on a 20-inch chain. Or if it's a, yeah, you need a 20-inch chain. So, parts of the chain, you have your teeth, okay? You have your driver, you have your depth gauge, and you have your link. All right, pretty straightforward. The pointed part is the cutting part. This is a wood chain. You can tell because it's flat on top. We use carbide tip chains on our ventilation saws, so it's a wood chain with a carbide portion mashed onto it. And what that does, that helps us cut through or blow through nails, metal gusset plates, anything we're gonna encounter on a roof, okay? We would use this, we use these in this setting because we don't have all that. I mean, we'll use nails, but we'll try not to hit the nails, and we'll try not to hit the metal gusset plates and the hangers. But mostly this would be used in the wildland setting, all right?
Sir.
So you have a question?
So the teeth is right here.
This is the cutting
This
tooth.
is the cutting tool. Okay.
Cool?
And the teeth are where at, sir?
This is the tooth.
Oh, the tooth.
Yeah.
And the next one is
Driver,
driver,
and then you
the
have your depth gauge.
Depth gauge. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Cool?
Yes, sir.
And then these are your links. Okay. Cool. All right. Now this is a full comp chain. So you have full comp, semi-skip, and full skip. There's just different arenas that you use the 3 in. Okay. We use full comp in because we want a lot of teeth. So there's tooth like every link on this one. Right. And what that enables us to do is to cut more and cut faster. Okay. It gums it. It can gum up the saw a lot quicker because it doesn't have room to clear it. But in a ventilation setting, we're not up there for 2-3 hours at a time cutting. We want to get up, cut our hole, help the interior crews, and get off. Okay, if we're up there more than we need to, we're just watching and thinking we're badass. Okay, so get up, cut, and go. That's why we use full comp. Now we also use semi-skip and full skip more in the wildland setting. Semi-skip is just same thing, but the teeth are a little bit further apart. Full skip, they're even further apart. And what that does is that allows the saw to run, say the logging industry, those guys run their saws 8, 10, 12 hours a day, all day long, cutting big old lumber. It lessens the load on the motor to make the motor more efficient and to have a longer lifespan. Okay. It also allows for the chips, the wood chips, to be cleared out easier so it doesn't gum up the saw at all. Okay. So there's just 3 different styles. Just know we use full comp for ventilation, and either semi-skip or full skip. We use semi-skip on our wildland saws, but just know those are the 3 different types. Cool?
Sure.
Any questions on the chain?
Yes, sir.
No? Okay. Moving back, we go, this is how yours looks. Now this is the part where you're gonna start taking it apart, okay? So I don't know if you can set that down or you just want to video record while the rest take it apart.
Yeah, I'll be recording.
Do video record?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So your clutch cover, okay, sits like this for you guys with your bar nuts. These are called your bar nuts, okay? So go ahead, grab your scrunches. You can flip your saw on its side if you want. Cool. And again, just utilize it. Lefty loosey, righty tighty. Let's take off these bar nuts. Yeah, I did. And you checked the hiring packet with me, and you said I was good to go.
This wasn't updated. It has all the names.
Okay.
Does it remember your name?
I don't. I'll have to look it up for you. I think I still have the text from last semester. Before. Okay. So once I wash my hands, I'll get it to you. Cool. Everybody there? Go ahead, take your bars off. You can take your chain off if you want. Pretty straightforward, right? So a little trick I do is I always put my bar nuts inside my clutch cover so I don't lose them. Cool? Everybody there? All right. So as you can see, the clutch cover, there's nothing mechanical about it. This will get gummed up as we cut. Pretty simple to clean up. Take some degreaser, some rags, clean it off, wash it with soap and water. Take your scrunch, scrape off some of the thick stuff if you have to. That's okay, you can do that with this stuff, okay? So just try to clear it out as much as possible. Okay, now we go to this assembly, right? Your clutch assembly. This right here, these are called your dogs, okay? We don't use them for ventilation. These is more for like the wildland or the logging setting. You stick it in the wood and you can use it as a pivot point, okay? So just know that they're there, but we're not gonna use them, all right? These are your bar posts, okay? They hold your bar on, obviously, okay? This little screw right here is, move this back and forth, that's your chain tension, okay? So you stick it in, you stick your scrunch in, the slightest part of your scrunch, you go left, lefty-loosey, it loosens the chain up, it'll slide this back. Put it in the right, it moves it forward, it tensions your chain, which we'll get through this in enough time that we can put it back together and you'll see how it works, okay? Up here, this little groove right here is your oiler, your bar oiler, okay? It's oil on your bar and chain to keep it from overheating and burning out and seizing up and whatever it does, okay? So this looks like this on yours, right? What does this look like to you?
Sprocket.
A sprocket, right? Or better known as a drive sprocket, okay? This is what spins our chain or makes our chain move, okay? It's attached to our crankshaft, right? Our crankshaft is attached to our piston. So as that moves, the crankshaft moves, which spins this, which drives the train, okay? More in depthly, this is a centrifugal clutch, okay? You have your clutch pads here attached to springs. So the faster this clutch spins, the more these expand, the more they grab this drum, the faster this thing will go. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Everybody good with that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool. You really don't need to take this apart unless it's really dirty, but for this week, I would just leave it intact and just clean around it, okay? How this is assembled is you have your needle bearing. It looks like that. Okay, that fits into here, or you can put it straight on your drive shaft, okay? So it fits like that, and then your little washer goes over that with the inset facing down or towards the sprocket, and then your E-clip pushed on in this little groove of the drive shaft, okay? This is a pain in the butt to get off without the right tool. That's why I don't have you guys do it, and that's why I only did it once, so I'm not bending or breaking this thing. Okay, but that's essentially how it's gonna look once we put it back. You can actually look at yours, it looks just like that, okay?
Oh, I see it.
So that's how it works. Now, if you look closely, this is your chain brake, okay? It works a wire spring in here that'll grab this. So as I push, just look right about here, you can see it move. Now if I do this, you see it moving down at the bottom.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so disengage means it's away from the drum, which means this thing will spin freely. Lock it off, it collapses on it, tightens it, and I can't spin it, okay?
Sure.
That's your chain brake or your safety. We don't want to slam the chain brake down when this thing is full throttle, unless it's an obvious emergency situation or major safety situation, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, so what we do, just remember this, full throttle in the wood, full throttle out, we let it idle down, and then we set the brake before we do any movement. Cool?
Yes, sir.
And we'll remind you as the week goes on, okay? Okay, any questions on the clutch portion of it?
No, sir.
No? Cool. All right, moving back, we have our handle. It's got a little spring on it just for anti-vibration, anti-shock. Nothing crazy. Some of the chainsaws will have a full wraparound handle so you can move it in any direction. I've never used it completely upside down, but I've used it sideways to cut garage doors open, obviously to cut roofs open. These things are great, they'll work in whatever position, just be careful of the carburetor, all right? So as we go up, we took off. You guys can now do this part. Take off your motor cover. So, yep, like that. Hey, you want me to hold it for you, dude?
Oh, I got it. I'll watch you do it.
So these screws will not fall out of the cover. That's how they're made. So don't try to pull them out.